good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it happens to be where you are, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, that is up to you. Today, I'm going to make some soup, a spicy soup. So, what do we need? We need a whole load of ingredients and a reasonably large pan. And I have one there, so this pan may well end up being filled up with soup within an hour or so. Making stuff like soup is easy. You just need to use your imagination and have a cupboard full of ingredients. So here, for example, is a nice little plastic pot full of individual spices such as cinnamon and ginger, and chili powder, and so on. So, let me tell you what I'm going to use. I am going to use coriander. I am going to use mustard seeds. I am going to use some cumin. I'm going to be using some turmeric for no other reason other than it's actually quite good for you. I'm going to be using some garlic and yes, a little bit of cinnamon. Also, one of my favourites, black pepper. Quite a bit of black pepper actually. In fact, I may as well call this black pepper soup for the amount of pepper I intend on putting in it. And I haven't finished there because the ingredients will continue. 1 tin of kidney beans, that's probably the most processed thing so far. Half a tin of peeled tomatoes. Some thyme, some pasta, onions, some oil obviously, and to thicken up the soup I shall use potatoes. That's right, potatoes. Potatoes. The thing I don't like about potatoes though is peeling them, especially when they're cold. Cold potatoes, peeling them, yuck. And one final ingredient, at least I think it's the final one, is a green capsicum, which makes it even more curry-like, but it's not a curry. There's going to be no fenugreek in there. There's going to be no chili powder. Right, so this is all of the things that we need, and it does look like quite a lot, doesn't it? And it should be. It should make something quite good. I'm very pleased to announce, let's have a nice big dollop of olive oil in there, that I have a new wooden spoon. I'm not going to throw away the old one because this one might just wear out or break or go missing, and then I would be without a wooden spoon. And although I am using a stainless steel pan, and a steel spoon would be fine, I don't like the noise it makes. Wooden spoons all the way. 1 sharp or knife over to cut up the onion. Normally when I cut onions up, I try and get them really, really small, into little tiny bits of onion. But for this instance, I don't think I'll bother too much. I'm just going to cut them up quite coarsely because, well, it's up to me what I do. That's simply it. I'm going to do it that way today rather than in big pieces. This is the way I cook. Basically, I don't do measuring. I don't go from a cookbook. I just go from what seems to make sense. And it always works out. It always works out fine, with the exception of the times when it didn't do. But that was quite a while back, and I can't even remember what went wrong in the first place. Onions. Potato. Now we're going for the second pan, which is there with water in, currently on the way to being boiled, because I could just put the potatoes in the pan and then we'd have chunks of potato, or what I prefer to do, certainly in this instance, is to boil the potatoes and then mash them up somewhat. Mashed up and then boned in the soup to thicken it up, much like you would try and do with flour. Go and feed these to the rabbit. I haven't got a rabbit. If I did have a rabbit, it'd be gone in that pan. Only joking. Whilst the onions gently cook away there, and the potatoes as well, I shall now introduce the garlic. There's quite a bit of garlic there. Don't be afraid of putting too much garlic in, because usually too much garlic still isn't quite enough anyway. That's all you need to do. You don't need a garlic crusher, you just crush it yourself, you just push them down. They don't argue too much, so you can't lose a fight with a piece of garlic. I'll cut that horrible bit off. I don't know why garlic always seems to suffer with slightly horrible bits. But anyway, the onions are now cooked, as you can see. I don't want to cook them too much longer like that because they will start to burn. After only 10 minutes or so, we need to start introducing some water. But I would like to put the garlic in first. So I shall. Just before the water, let's start to put some black pepper in. Some. And when I say some, I mean a lot. Now, you might consider that to be a lot. I don't. Actually, I've changed my mind ever so slightly already, and I'm going to just bung in a whole tin of peeled tomatoes before I even put any water in. And at this point, certainly for a while, I'm going to turn the heat up because nothing's going to get burnt in there. Unless you put your fingers in. So far then, onions, garlic, pepper and tomatoes with water. Doesn't look too exciting yet. But trust me, it will. I reckon I'll go for 3. Sounds like I'm mixing up a bowl full of nuts and bolts. More water and then a green pepper. The green pepper is particularly good with anything a bit spicy. When I call it spicy, it's not really going to be, well, horrible. Not that it should be horrible, but it's just going to be really peppery and peppery. Another ingredient, actually. I'm surprised I forgot about this one, but not pepper, but salt. Pink Himalayan salt in a pepper grinder. And without a bit of salt, it won't be as good as it could be. So when I say a bit of salt, that amount. And now, of course, you would, if you didn't know what I was making, you would struggle to know whether it was curry or soup, wouldn't you? Not that that's the idea, although no, the pasta might give it away as being something other than curry, I suppose. Is this a healthy soup, you might be asking? Well, yeah, because it's homemade. Even though it's potatoes, beans and pasta, that's a triple helping of carbs. It's going to be quite a big pan of soup anyway. Turn it into mash. Ideally, I would have left this to simmer for much longer. For these ingredients, I'm going to use a spoon rather than just emptying in the pallet. So it, rather than just emptying the bag willy-nilly. So I reckon 1 teaspoon of coriander, nearly a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter of turmeric. I've already got black pepper in there, and then the thyme can go in near the end. When it does go in, I'm going to make a joke and say, it's time. And I'll find that hilarious. It's actually quite easy to put too much cinnamon in soup. And in all honesty, I've never put cinnamon in soup before. Or, I think I have with cumin. And that's the thing I can smell more than anything at the moment, is actually cinnamon. Very, very overpowering smell. So it's just as well, it's not a horrible smell. We just have the red kidney beans and the thyme. And I'm going to hold back the pepper for a while because I might want some more. Oh, and that mash. Just basically, just got to wait now. What can I do in the meantime? Read? Go on Facebook. Look at the fish. I think what I need to do is just have a little taster of it, which is something I don't normally do. Normally what I will do is just bung all the stuff together and not consider it until I come to eat it, and then say, yeah, that works actually. Thought so. More black pepper. Some may be tempted to put cheese in this as well. What is this notion with cheese? You see all these Instagram things, they've always got to have loads of cheese and bacon on things. You just eat cheese and bacon. If you like cheese and bacon, just eat cheese and bacon, because the other things will spoil it anyway, and the cheese and bacon will spoil whatever it is that you're making. Actually, come to think of it, probably wouldn't. And there we go. Besides the time to go in at the last moment, that's finished. It's the right colour, which isn't too red. There's no unusual colours, it's all a bit beige, so most people won't be put off it. It's as good as I was expecting. Proper soup. Proper good soup. I'm quite pleased with that.